Pakistan's space program has undergone a dramatic transformation. For decades, SUPARCO was seen as a slow-moving agency with limited capabilities, but in recent months, Pakistan has rapidly expanded its fleet of Earth observation satellites. Experts say this is no longer just a civilian space story. Increasingly, it is becoming a surveillance story. The key question is whether Pak is building a space-based intelligence network with India firmly in its sight. The concern is not simply about number of satellites, it is about what they can do. Modern Earth observation platform can monitor infrastructure, track movements, detect changes on the ground in remarkable precision. Pakistan's newer satellites include high-resolution imaging and hyperspectral capabilities that spot, camouflage, identify materials. And let me tell you what is important is that they have been able to send six satellites in last couple of months. Now this is where the story is. So this recent push is being observed in India. Is this push possible without China's support, tech support, organizational support, human resource support? And ISRO have suffered some setbacks, though it remains one of the world's leading space agencies with achievements ranging from lunar exploration to deep space mission. SUPARCO is no comparison to ISRO, but this sudden spurt of satellite sending has sparked this conversation. On this issue, I am joined by Air Commodore Dr. Ashwinder Singh Bahal and Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director DRDO. Let me straight away go to Air Commodore Ashwinder Singh Bahal. Sir, opening comments. These launches that have taken place in last 16 months, please decode it for us.
Absolutely. Karthikeya, you'll be surprised to know that I was the one who led the team who wrote the first paper on Space Command in 2000 for both Indian Air Force and for our armed forces. And that's how later on the Space Cell was formed. That time I was a very young officer. Now, the second thing is, you'll be very surprised also to know that Pakistan started its space journey in 1961. India started in 1969. You remember Vikram Sarabhai and all, and they were great leaders. And India really progressed and has come up with such achievements and milestones in space that initially China wanted to learn from us. I remember that period 2005 to 2007 when the Chinese were asking us if we can develop technologies in space, because I was involved with College of Air Warfare at that time. So that was the kind of lead we had with China. Of course, it's not there today. They have 1365 satellites launched. But looking at Pakistan in all these years has done only 15 launches. That is one. Secondly, in last 15 months, it has launched 6 satellites. Now, what are these type of satellites? They were launched, two satellites were launched between Pahalgaon incident and Op Sindoor commencement, and thereafter 4 more satellites have been launched. They are mainly electro-optical Earth observation satellites as well as hyperspectral satellites. Now, when we say electro-optical, this technology of the electro-optical satellites, which gives them a better resolution, higher resolution than the others, was given to them by the Chinese. In fact, Chinese have been involved in the last 2 decades intimately with SUPARCO, that is the Space and Upper Atmosphere Research Commission of the Pakistanis. Now, what type of these satellites? The other one is hyperspectral. The resolution capability of the satellite, which is electro-optical, is about a meter. That is 80 centimeters to 1 meter. And India had this capability 20 years back. So when we are looking at the capability that we had, Pakistan is virtually 20 years behind us.
Okay.
The second and most important thing is hyperspectral means that you are able to pick up those target systems that have been hidden with the camouflage, which means it can differentiate between the green chlorophyll and the dead leaves that are used for hiding the
Absolutely.
two important aspects. What is its application? How does it get used? The 6 satellites that they have launched. So they can carry out great terrain analysis. They can carry out infrastructure analysis. They can look at our transport corridors, critical facilities, border areas. They can map the border areas. But like we have DIPAC, Defense Imaging Processing and Analysis System, the center, the Pakistanis have a very rudimentary kind of a thing, and they mainly rely on Chinese. If you remember, China supplied them with targeting intelligence during Op Sindhu, and was intimately indicating to them what were the target
Okay.
systems that they needed to attack. I just need one minute more.
Okay.
So in this case, what is their capabilities mainly related to clear weather, daytime, whereas the capability that they also require is night, all weather, when clouds are there, which means they don't have resat, that is radar imaging satellites. They don't have emisat, that is emission, that electronic intelligence, and SIGINT,
Okay.
that is signals intelligence satellites. And they don't have the budget to make this also at $25 million to $100 million. Ours is 100 times more than this, $1.6 billion. And last thing on this, they are basically tactical in nature. Their revisit time is close to 2 days. That means one of the satellites, which is in low Earth orbit, will come off within 2 days. So they cannot real time monitor our targets if there are any major movements taking place within the 48 hours. They can only see it
Okay.
after 48 hours. And these are major limitations as far as Pakistan is
Okay.
concerned.
Okay. Group Captain Jha, what explains this spurt, sir? Is it indigenous, or do you think they have imported the human resource and tech?
To be very frank, Pakistan doesn't have the means and the finances to effectively monitor Earth from space. Obviously, they don't have the finances and means to have J-35 as well. So their big brother, China, is there to support them, and I, along with many others, we believe that in these six launches also there have been Chinese technology, Chinese finances, and Chinese hand to give them. There are reports coming that one of the satellites they have sent is the also spy satellite, the so-called. There are some satellites which can have the spy capability, but that's a very complex technology. It's easier said than done. But surely, where India is there, should India be bothered about these six satellites being sent in the last, as many months or so? I doubt it. Look what happens. Satellites are there for two basic reasons. One is to map the Earth, revolving it around, whether it is the low Earth orbit or it is the mid Earth orbit, or it is permanently 24/7 looking at a particular spot within a cone of about 20 degree from the geostationary position, which is about 36,000 plus 37,000 plus kilometers above the Earth. So any satellite which is a communication satellite, those are the one usually that is being placed in the GSAT, geostationary orbit. But other Cartosat or the Earth observation satellites, we prefer them to be in the low Earth orbit. And here comes the role of the Earth orbit. Like Air Commodore Bahal just now told you that they have capability of looking at the Earth. It's not easy because there are two types of usually employed orbit that we use for the Earth observation. One is the low Earth orbit, the orbit sun synchronous, and other is around the perimeter. I mean, around the equator. Around the equator, like say Pakistan, it has sent three satellites recently, which is at an inclination of about 36 degree or so. That means it doesn't keep on looking at you vis-a-vis Indian satellites, most of which is SSPO, sun synchronous satellite, which goes around the Earth. That means it gets sunlight all 24/7, including all times, and then keeps at looking at the particular area of interest at typically the similar condition so as to identify any changes. And remember, India has a technology. It is about 5 years old that they have sent the satellite, Cartosat 3, which can distinguish the size of the changes of about 38 centimeter or so
Okay.
vis-a-vis what Pakistan is eyeing to have a 1 meter or so capability of, the identification of the things. So that is the type of things we already have. We don't have to worry about it. And lastly, you remember, any low Earth satellites, it goes around the Earth. In the low Earth, it makes one revolution at about say 400 odd kilometers or 500 kilometers in about 92 minutes. So 92 minutes, it makes one checker, and by that time Earth also keeps on rotating. So many of these checkers which is around the equator goes in the darkness. Now, as Ekamoto was telling you, we have emisat, we have got other type of things. We also have infrared. We have synthetic radar aperture SAR satellites. So these are the satellites of the spatial capability,
Okay.
which can look into the daytime, which can look into the night time, which can look at the Earth within the cloud covered
Okay.
sky as well.
Okay.
So these are the different types of satellite that you must keep in the picture. So we need not worry about these six
Okay.
satellites. They are nothing.
Dr. Bahal, can you shed some very quickly light on this 20 enhanced capability global navigation satellite system jammers for the Indian Navy? And what about the technology demonstration that happened 5 years ago, satellite killers? Do we have them? Those?
Yeah, that's a very nice thing that you mentioned. Actually, Modi ji made it as a primary instrument that we must have anti-satellite technology. 2007 was the first time when Chinese shot their own weather satellite with a Long March rocket. Now, whereas in our case, we did it a few years back, like you were mentioning, and we did shoot a satellite at I think 318 kilometers. The scientist will be able to tell better about that altitude, but we did manage to achieve of anti-satellite capability. The second and very important thing is the electronic warfare that you are talking of, and the jammers that the Navy is going to get. I think it's a brilliant thing. The Pakistanis were better in electronic warfare capability with their electronic warfare jammers, which are fitted in their aircraft, transport aircraft, DA-20 Falcon, DA-20 Falcon. But after, for the last 10 years or so, India has made rapid progress in this particular area. And we have filled in this deficiency with our own indigenous systems like Samyukta and one more. I've forgotten the name of that system, that electronic warfare system, which we used in Op Sindoor. The second and very important thing is, what do these jammers do? These jammers ensure that whether it is a signal being emitted or a communication frequency being emitted or a control frequency being emitted, they are the ones that jam that. With the result, the data cannot be transferred onto the DIPAC, like I was mentioning for us in India. But in case of Pakistan, it is actually Chinese who do this processing. Getting data is not very difficult, but and you can even buy it off shell every day from openly available sources and satellites. With so many satellites available today in the world, but commercial satellites I'm talking. But what is important is, can you process that data into meaningful information, which capability requires artificial intelligence integrated in it that Pakistan currently does not have, and it takes help from China to do it.
Okay. And Mr. Jha, I'll take closing comments from you, because this system also works on one more aspect, which is degrading the satellite signal acquisition and tracking performance of the adversary GNSS receiver signal spoofing or deceptive jamming. So are we excelling in these anti-satellite systems, spoofing, jamming, degrading them?
Surely. Look, not many things are known to us what ISRO does, but ISRO is working purely on the civilian side. But Indian Armed Forces, they also have their, like Erkamoto Bahel was mentioning to you, we also have expertise in the satellite technologies. And in that technologies, many things come, including the jamming. So when these Paki satellites will make a pass around the Earth, they will be flying over the international border or LOC for a very brief period, in which I doubt if they will gather sufficient amount of information vis-a-vis our EOS satellites, SSPO satellites, which is going on the sun synchronous, that they have got a longer stay. And remember, when the satellite makes a pass, it is just about 20 degree of the cone in which you gather the maximum informations.
Okay.
There are other areas also visible, but that is something different. And in that cone, if you can disable, jam their technology. Look, we have got many aircrafts which enemy radar makes some sort of opening of the signals. It picks up the frequency and amplitude and exactly jams that particular frequency and things, so that the radar become ineffective. Similarly, here it is not only the radar, it is many other communications, two-way communications, which happens with the satellites. So we have got the jammer system. I don't know whether it is being employed or not, but yes, anytime that you pick up a Pakistani satellite making a pass, you know what frequency it is operating at, what is the wavelength, and you can jam it effectively over our own territory, especially over the defense sensitive areas. You can absolutely nullify their things. We have been doing it for all global satellite that are defense establishment, they are not visible to them.